Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy SCGRANT here, and I'm back with another pilot for Blitz Productions. Okay, you cannot be serious. Okay, so what's this about? Okay, let me start off by saying that Gameverse was not on my to-do list because, look, I've already reviewed plenty of Blitz Production related content on the channel. Well, pretty much this channel, because once again, it's either pilot episodes or episodes, because by the time you're seeing this video, Digital Circus is nearing its conclusion with the final episode being set to release next month. Nothing but theaters and most likely weeks later on YouTube. So I'm like, okay, why is this happening? Okay, let me give you a long story short. I was fully aware of the trailer of Gameverse back in late January. It was when during my break from basically making videos as a whole, and I didn't think of too much of it. It was essentially another way that I was even considering making a video about it, but I didn't do much about it. My priorities were elsewhere. I had to get my B-Stars videos finished. I had to get getting back to the Helliverse. There weren't a lot of things. But what didn't expect was the fact is that the creator of Gameverse is actually Rose O'Donovan. I mean, wait, the Rose O'Donovan? I mean, I could have sworn I heard that name before, but it came to my head. If I recall, Gameverse was actually been around since. Hold on, let me check my script. Oh yeah, 2009! Because this is not the first time this concept was in the limelight. It was actually goes far back as the late 2000s. Yeah, your boy was essentially a freshman in high school back then. It basically flew under my radar as pretty much other things have basically spawned on. Remember, at the time when the original version of Gameverse, which was basically probably the web series itself was at its time, and it was independent, probably something related to Newgrounds and all that. I was essentially in high school, and I was on the PS3 at the time. Look, let me give you right out to what the pilot was all about. The concept of this show is simple. If you beat a video game, that video game's world pretty much self-destructs. So it's up to this new cast of characters who are basically trying to prevent video game wars or find a way to try to stop this, because one of the important things about video games is that it's gotta have its replay value. And apparently these video game worlds that I'm seeing here in the Gameverse has no replay value. Because I think that was a thing back during the 80s and 90s, mostly the late 80s, the 90s, even the 2000s, was that if a game ain't got no replay value, yeah, it pretty much serves its purpose, meaning that there's that the programming has done its job, and most likely everything will die. That's why most games today gotta have that replay value. If it doesn't, it is pretty much all dead. So without further ado, let's get into our cast of characters. So we got pretty much our protagonist of which is another one. Wait, I know about this one. I mean, the moment that trailer dropped, man, there was fan art everywhere, bro. I'm like, the moment even the pilot even dropped, fan art started popping up everywhere. I'm like, yep, another one added in. It's like, first, because the funny thing is about this character, the protagonist is named Kit, and she have her two companions. In fact, the trailer is actually a prologue to the pilot. It's literally, I think it's Goobles. Yeah, Goobles is actually played by Aaron Hansen, and Goobles is essentially Goobles' own world was the latest to get pretty much erased because you beat the villain, and yeah, everything dies. But the one was Caboodle. Caboodle is basically like J.S. Schlott, I believe. Yeah, I couldn't pronounce it because it really looked like a username. I'm like, I didn't know that you could put people's usernames and credits, which I'm actually kind of used to. That people basically put themselves in the credits of various entertainments, but under pretty much like pseudonyms or pretty much aliases. Because once again, they're not just their government names. They use pretty much aliases to pretty much stand up from the highlight. But the fact of the matter is that the concept is simple. Video game worlds are disappearing if a protagonist beats the villain out of a respective world. It gets deleted and basically sucked into this whole. So it's up to this new protagonist named Kit, who is played by, oh my god, it's Luna herself, Era Lindbeck. Oh my god, they actually got her on speed dial. I'm like, hey, Era Lindbeck, wanna voice this new character for our new show we got? Like, okay, we like, and that's it. I mean, she really brought a lot of energy to the table for this one. So that's one I didn't expect it. Once again, the voice of Luna is voicing Kit. I'm like, oh, then it stuck to my head. I'm like, oh, because I actually got a Because one of my followers on my social media actually posted fan art of basically, and shout outs to you for this one, Lily posting, trying to draw Luna, and then all of a sudden Kit comes by in her bikini outfit, and basically he's like, oh snap, a new kid on the block? I'm like, ouch. I'm like, hold up. It's like every time a new waifu shows up or any new hot sexy character shows up, everybody just focusing on this character and leaves the other one in the dust. Like, goddamn. It's like a never-ending battle for this one. But but back to Glimmerverse. The whole thing about basically video game worlds disappearing, because if you beat the villain, then that's it. The world disappears. This is basically a twist on pretty much the whole game over concept. That's why the title is called Game Overs. Usually the concept is if you get a game over, that means you lost all your lives and everything. But lives are meaningless. Here, if you actually beat the game, you unintentionally destroyed your own world? Like, what? Because once again, replay by is pretty much what I thought of when I thought of this show as a whole. Like, video game worlds are disappearing because the hero beats the villains. So now they're trying to... So it's basically the villains trying to get their get back at heroes, but where's the logic in that? Oh wait, it's video game logic. Overall, I really enjoyed it, pretty much the pilot of this episode, and there's little pilots. And what's more shocking that this is essentially not the pilot, but most YouTube creators, most YouTube content creators coming out and saying about the pilot was that, wait a minute, this feels like like the whole thing is that like hear me out. The first pilot, once they drop on this new world to basically save this dolphin guy, is essentially a beach episode. Didn't Digital Circus have a beach episode like in the first act of episode 7, and now we're getting an entire thing in one episode? My god, that's just weird. I mean we're only for that fan service, but damn. But yeah, video game worlds are disappearing, and I am pretty mixed about it. I'm like, okay, I see where they're going with this one. If you beat the game, then the game's programming has pretty much served its purpose, and it all resets itself, or self-destructs. But yeah, where will this go overall, man? I got questions, bro. Because, well, and this led me to one thing. With Digital Circuits now being concluded, pretty much coming to its conclusion in next month, where do we go from here with Glitch Productions as a whole? I mean, their flagship was Digital Circuits. I mean, I thought it was Merge Rooms, or maybe SMG4, because SMG4 were always made a place in my heart. But yeah, once Digital Circuits gets concluded, who's gonna take up the mantle to be the next flagship for this indie studio? Who's gonna take it up? Certainly, we already got the Gaslight District and Knights of Guinevere, but Game Overs? I know this is basically, once again, just remember, SMG4 was built upon video game parodies, but having this as their new flagship, that's going to be a tall order. Meaning, it's got to get enough traction to even compare to Digital Circuits. Once again, no shade and no taking jabs, but once again, it's got to have a momentum in order to actually take up the mantle after Digital Circuits. Remember, currently for Glitch Productions, with Digital Circuits being concluded next month, we got the Gaslight District, Knights of Guinevere on their lineup. And yes, Laxadaisy is also there too, but Laxadaisy doesn't count since it's considered it's also its own show, but it's being backed by Glitch. So technically, Laxadaisy is its own thing, and it's not part of Glitch Productions' portfolio. They're just backing another studio to basically get their show off the ground. And yeah, man, I really like the concept of video game worlds disappearing. But I'm gonna need more in order to solidify me basically sticking around for this one, because once again, this show, or should I say this concept of video game worlds disappearing, and with Kit as pretty much the minute along with their two friends, Pablo Googles and now Flappers now join the mix, my question remains, where do we go from here? With not just this show, but with Glitch Productions as a whole. They already got the merch already rolling out like hotcakes. But here's the thing, I don't know where Glitch Productions will go moving forward now that Digital Circuits coming to its conclusion. I like Game Overs, don't get me wrong. I have played video games ever since the early 2000s. I know all of my consoles. Everything from back to the 90s with the SNES and the Genesis. Like, yo, there's so much going on in this show. Like, I think Game Overs needs to take a little look at. But for now, that's all I have to say about Game Overs. Game Overs is a fun time. But once again, it needs enough momentum in order to take up the mantle after Digital Circuits. Digital Circuits flew in popularity, bro. But once again, Game of Thrones gotta live up to that expectations, bro. But I'll leave it up to you to give your thoughts upon the show yourself. I already gave my thoughts on it. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Gameoverse from Ross O'Donovan himself. Anyway, this is your boy SCGRANT, and I'm finally have the long-awaited video you guys have been waiting for so long. Anyway, see you all in the next one. Take care.